All right, we are live for another training inside our group. Just getting set up here. Just give me 1 second here. Just want to make sure I can see the comments there. Okay, we'll let Facebook do its thing and let everybody know that I'm here. And if you're popping on, just let me know you can hear me and see me. Hey, Cindy, what's up? Let me know if you're here live or catching the replay. Always like knowing who's joining us. So just pop into the comments, say hello. Let me know if you're here live or catching the replay. Today's topic is the steps to nail your workout consistency. And we're going to really hone in on how do we do this without feeling boredom and burnt out. So that's the goal for today. Some future trainings that we got planned are going to cover other areas of workouts as well. So stay tuned for those. And if you're here live today, February 16th, there is a special training at 7 p.m. tonight, so stay tuned for that. Good, I'm seeing a lot. Hello, Manon. Good, I saw Pam, I saw Sarah. Good, it always feels like Romper Bumper, and they never said Cindy. All right, so next, if I have delivered value since you joined the group through like these weekly trainings, maybe the challenges you've been a part of, everything that's kind of happening in this group, then I just encourage you to hit the invite button. Think of like 2 or 3 people, maybe their friends, family, or coworkers that would really benefit from the stuff that we're doing in this group, the awesomeness, the value that you're receiving. And this group is about giving a woman a safe place to kind of learn what's not conventionally talked about when it comes to health, nutrition, exercise, and weight loss. And it's really about every time you come back for a training, it's really giving you the knowledge and the know-how, and then giving you the steps to practice, to put into place, to practice, not about perfection. It's about imperfect action there. Hey, Anne. And so that's what it's really about. And when we invite 2 to 3 people, we get to have more meaningful conversations about the topic. One, we're on the same page with them, learning the same things, working on the same steps. And 2, we get to move the conversation away from more of those superficial things. I'm on a diet, I hate my body, I'm on this supplement, have you heard about this, you trying keto? We're moving it to more meaningful conversations, forming more connections and a stronger bond with one another. So that's really the power of being inside this community, but also kind of sharing the link to the group. So I just ask, if today I deliver value, consider 2 to 3 people that might need to hear this this kind of training. Okay, so let's dig into it. So again, today's topic is the steps to nail workout consistency to avoid the burnout and maybe the boredom that you experience. So you do want to get out your notebook and pen, because each time we do these trainings, like, I'm empowering you to take action if you choose, of course. And I always think that there must be 3 variables in place in order for us to be action takers. We have to have the willingness, the ability, and the readiness. Sometimes all 3 of those aren't in alignment. So rather than thinking about I have a lack of willpower or motivation, think about, where is my willingness on a scale of 10, where is my ability on a scale of 10, and where is my readiness on a scale of 10. And if those are in alignment for you, then you want to get out your pen and paper, and you want to commit to taking imperfect action. And because I'm going to be covering a lot, and they always do cover a lot, but I just want you to focus on 2 or 3 that you can walk away one. And I'm going to ask you what those 2 to 3 are at the very end. And then you can come back here and grab a few more when you're ready to kind of evolve your practice. Or you can come back here and choose another 2 to 3, especially if the ones that you're trying just don't seem to be working. So for me, I like exercise to be a solitary experience. Sure, I like to have a friend or someone to work out with me from time to time, but I really do enjoy doing it on my own. So if you see me running with earbuds in, it's mostly acoustic music. Generally, it's 90s tune, but get me in a spin class and it's totally different. And I like the contemplative and meditative experience. It wasn't always like that, but that's definitely what it is for me now. Are you more of a loud music type, a group type, or more of a solo contemplative type? Let me know in the comments. Do you like loud music? Do you like groups? Are you the kind of person that's like me, kind of like solo, and you like that contemplative type? I know my friend always makes fun of me when I'm listening to acoustic music. She's like, are you sad? And I'm like, no, it just really gets my mind and body connected during the workout. So my own training has really looked different from when I was 20 to 30 and 40. And I've really gone from being a cardio junkie to being a one about high reps. So think about like pump classes, that was me, to being about beating myself up every time, to really being one about strength. And strength really that came about 5 years ago or so. So my clients hear me talk about the 5 main functional movement patterns and really basing all my workouts off those movements in some fashion. So those movements include things like squats, the hinge, the pull, the push, and the carry. If I look at my own workouts and with clients, the foundation is kind of always weaved into those workouts. And I used to be pulled by all the fancy stuff, and then I got bogged down when I couldn't do it just right. And it wasn't until I learned that the foundations were key to kind of building my strength and meeting my goals that I stopped seeing them as kind of boring but necessary. And sure, I like to weave in different equipment and some fun in there as well, for sure. Yeah. So now today is all about isn't about convincing you of the benefits that exercise can provide that extend beyond, physically and mentally and emotionally. There's so much research that backs up the idea that as we hit 30, we kind of start to lose muscle mass and bone density. It increases at 40 and then 50. And of course, if you are a woman or you're somebody going through kind of menopause, now you're getting even less estrogen and less protective effects of estrogen too. So we know that we must preserve our muscle mass as much as we can. And that is also going to rev up your metabolism if weight loss is one of your goals. We know the importance of that, but it's also going to help us with things like balance, stability, coordination, and it's going to help us with speed and movement. So being able to get up off the ground or to protect ourselves if something is coming, right? Or to catch ourselves, that sort of thing. So we know that, hey, there's all these benefits from a physical, mental, and emotional standpoint. We know as we get older that certain things happen in our body. So preserving muscle helps not only from a metabolism standpoint, but also from, a quality of life kind of perspective too. Today's training is really just more about how to get you out of that unmotivated, boring rut we sometimes find ourselves in. So curious, let me know in the comments, are you in one right now? Are you in kind of that boring, meh rut with your workouts? Just hit me up in the comments and say, yes, I am, or I'm or I'm meh, or I'm bored. So today my goal is to give you a different lens to look through when this happens, because it even happens to me, and it's going to help you pull yourself out of it. And it isn't about the rut itself, right? But how quickly we can turn things around. And we talked about this before in this group. If you planned a trip and you're heading on, let's say the 401, and you hit a detour or whatever, it's kind of inevitable on our highways that we're going to either hit construction or a detour. And it's not about the detour itself. It's about how quickly we can get back, how close to our ETA can we be? So that's kind of what we're looking at now. So let's just chat about the word boring just in general first to kind of set the stage for today's training. Eating the same healthy meals on a regular basis is boring. Getting stronger with like squats and pull-ups and push-ups, boring. Going for a simple walk every morning, it's boring. Going to bed and getting up on time, it's boring. Understanding that eating rate is 80% of the battle, boring. Saying no to sweets, politely declining dessert, skipping office candy, boring. Doing the same thing day in and day out for months and months, boring. It's boring sticking to the same routine week after week, month after month. It's boring, small, repeated improvements versus declaring that making big changes all at once, right? So I'm going to come back to this, right? I'm going to come back to this boringness, but I just wanted to set the stage. Boring, 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 right? And as I give you this list, what do you notice about what I mentioned? What does it have you thinking about boring? I really want to hear it from you in the comments, whether you're live or replay. As I kind of said, eating healthy, doing these exercises, the walking, going to bed on time, no sweets or what have you, or, things that you do the same thing all the time, the routine time after time, right? I want to know what comes up for you when I list it like that. And when I say boring, what do you notice? What are you thinking when I do that? So hit me up in the comments and let me know, because I want to go back and read those. So I wanted to start there because by the end of today's training, you're going to see boring a little bit different, but a benefit to keep you going into seeing really those results, right? You see, boring doesn't sell We easily scroll by boring on Facebook, right? And Instagram without giving it a thumbs up, a heart, or leaving a comment, right? We gravitate towards the videos, posts, and like even the TikToks that are on the flip side of boring. They make us feel something different other than boring, right? So let's get started. So before I get started, I just want to read some of the comments. And you're bang on. What you see is consistency. Shelly is same thing, repetitive. Me, I do these routines, and yes, boring, but they get you further ahead, right? And I always think about like laundry, right? It's like if you're the kind of person that does a little bit of laundry each time, it feels less cumbersome at the end, because the worst part about laundry, I don't know if it is for you, but it's putting it all away. So if I can do it, chip out away a little bit at a time, it feels less cumbersome, right? I also brush my teeth every day. That's not fascinating for me. It's not exciting for me. It's boring, but it's way better than going to the dentist to get everything cleaned out of my teeth years after when they're falling apart and they're decay. So we understand the value of consistency, and we do things outside of fitness and health and nutrition that are routine, that are boring, but they have a bigger benefit, right? They have a bigger plus side to doing them. And if we don't do them, we kind of have more negative consequences of not doing them. Okay, so I hope you have your pencil and paper ready. Number one, we need to consider, are you brand new to fitness? So if you are, you want to start by removing any kind of like preconceived notions you have about how you're supposed to work out, because there really is no right way, but there is a wrong way. And that's really forcing yourself to do something that just doesn't feel in alignment with where you are at and who you are. If it feels forced, you won't stick to it long enough to see the results or sustain them. So I see this happening a lot with, if you're in a group of people and they're all doing this diet or this workout, for example, and you feel like you're supposed to do it that way or what have you. And then what happens is you feel out of alignment. You feel out of connection with that group, and then with yourself as well. And so it doesn't stick long enough because it's not who you are, for example, right? So some people really love to run, where there's other people who look at the runners and they're just like, I don't know how you do it, and vice versa. So they've kind of found their niche, right? They've kind of find the thing that feels in alignment with them, and it doesn't feel as forced as someone who's like, I guess I'll go running because that's what you're supposed to do, but it's not what I like to do. So what do you want to get out of your workouts is number two. Sometimes we just want to move our bodies, which is really a great starting place, but sometimes that adds to the rut or the lack of consistency. So your best bet here is to kind of define it. Are you looking to build muscle, to build strength, power, speed, or just lose weight? Define your reason and create or look for a program that meets that. You'll increase your self-belief that what you're doing is the right thing for your goals. Don't skip that step. So one, define, are you just wanting to move your body and just doing something just to get in the regular habit of moving your body? That's one thing. But if you define the goal, then you'll start looking for the things that help you meet that goal, right? But it also helps with that doubt that you might have, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? It gives you more self-belief in that area. Number three, change up the variables, because often it's not a new program we need. Some memberships will convince you that it's like, it makes it look like the membership has a lot of value because, wow, look at all the workouts in here, right? But what you need to learn is how to change up variables. And what I mean is sometimes it's not a new program or having access to all this abundance. It's really looking at, do I know how to change the weights, increase or decrease? Do I know how to change the tempo? Do I know how to change the rest to work ratios? Do I work always on, both arms overhead, both legs down? Or can I work on one leg at a time, one arm at a time? Do I know what deload weeks look like? Do I know how to change the order, like going from a circuit to a superset? Do I know how to move from beyond reps into, let's say, time-based workouts? So program hopping, but that's what I call somebody who just is always looking for the next program, maybe never finishes a program, always thinks that one's going to be better, or is always kind of chasing that novelty. Program hopping is kind of what makes someone feel like they aren't getting results and therefore feel like, what's the point? That's a big one there. And I think that back in the early 2000s, they did a really good job of talking about metabolic confusion, and that kind of made people a lot more confused. So number four, are you looking for fun in your workouts? My question back is, where can you inject some fun in other places? Does your workout need to be fun? Does fun always get you results? This one is kind of always banking on like your husband, for example, to kind of initiate the plan for date night or to do some fun things. Sometimes we just get that from other people like friends, or we really need to take the initiative to do it ourselves. In other words, we are banking on the workouts to provide the it every single time. Do you just need to move past? It doesn't sound interesting or fun, or it seems boring. Do you have to move past that? Does that get in the way of even trying? I get it. We're at an age where we can be entertained so easily. I don't want to wait the 5 seconds it takes for the next episode of the next Netflix show. No problem. I want to skip forward to the next one, right? We're in this Netflix era where we have shows, entire seasons of shows at our fingertips, and it's totally bingeable. And that's how that's what we love, but it's because it's so instant, right? So we must separate that out and say, we don't always have to be entertained by our workouts. We really need to look for that entertainment or that fun maybe elsewhere and getting it in different ways, and look at, our workouts a little bit differently. But I get it, because we're in this kind of era where everything is instant and where we are constantly looking to be entertained. So that's a different way of looking at it there. I don't know if that resonates with you there, but give me a thumbs up if that is. And number 5 is, what do the workouts represent for you? How can you transition from your workouts to be less about just your body, and how can it be how it makes you feel in your body mentally and emotionally too? That was a big one for me, because it very much used to be just about how it was transforming my body, and it was very little, and it was about beating my body up, beating myself up for what I ate or what I didn't do. And it really was the shift in, how do I get it to make me feel better mentally and emotionally too? And that's where I took a pivot into looking at more strength-based workouts, getting myself really, really strong. Which, by the way, yesterday I had a client, I'm just going to toot my own horn here. I had a client who was doing overhead shoulder press with 2 40-pound dumbbells, and then I decided I'm going to go try it and see. And I did it. I was only going for 1 rep, and I did 5 reps. So those are the kinds of wins that I like to count up now. Number 6, you think the basics are boring. I find that women who believe this fall off the wagon more when their routine changes, or when like normal stresses of life hit. Your crucial kind of Lego blocks of nutrition, exercise, and self-organization skills kind of get knocked out easily with even small challenges. So ask yourself, how solid are your basics? And remember, I talked about the 5 movement patterns at the very beginning. That's what I'm talking about when we're talking about our basics. So we're going on to number 7 here. Is, are you deliberate? To develop a skill like one of those basic movements, it takes deliberate practice. So this means you're just at the edge of your ability, just the edge, and you're being challenged, but not so challenged, right? You're just simply adding more practice won't help. So consider how many people are really lousy drivers, even if they've been driving for many, many years, right? To get better, your practice must be deliberate. It must have a goal and ongoing feedback. You must allow yourself to kind of suck for a while to get to the other side of better. Does that make sense? Being really deliberate with your practice. Just because you've been working out for so many years, and especially if you're not getting the results you want, workouts are one portion of it, but nutrition is something different. But if you're not getting the results that you want after years of practice, are you like the driver? You're just driving, but you're a lousy driver, and you're not being deliberate enough. You're not just on that brink of challenge, right? Often what I see is women haven't worked out for a long time. They decide to do it. They go really hard because that's what they know, or that's what they feel like they should be doing. And then they get injured, and then they go back to a whole bunch of nothing, right? Is this resonating? Give me a thumbs up if that's resonating with you, right? What we want to do is find what our comfort level is and just go a little bit past, right? Shoulder presses for me, they're not something like they're in my comfort zone, but going the extra 5 pounds heavier than I usually practice, that's just on the edge, just challenging enough for me, right? And that's kind of what we want. You need more know-how is number 8, how to lift correctly, or how to structure your workouts, or how to challenge yourself, or you're afraid to add a little more weight, or you think you should stick to the light weights and do a ton of reps. reps because, you don't want to get bulky. You're not adding a challenging enough weight or load, for example. This can create a gap too. If it's not challenging enough, right, your mind goes off, right? It's not ultra focused on the task at hand. You can be thinking about other things and you don't have that kind of mind muscle connection, the presence of mind. And I see this a lot of women who start lifting and they may be afraid to add a little bit more weight or don't want to look a certain way. And then they think that the lightweight, a lot of reps is going to keep them from getting really bulky. So me going back to that example yesterday, me lifting that heavier weight, there was nothing else I could focus on except for that, right? That's the mind muscle connection. And that's how you be more present in your workout, right? And then you're more focused and therefore there's not a lot of room to be distracted thinking about other things or saying, is this kind of boring, right? Number 9, do you see value in your routine? What if you relished in a routine, right? Like brushing your teeth. What time of day are you doing it? What is your schedule? Can you set it ahead of time? Are you putting it in the calendar, setting a reminder? Being in routine will automatically cut down on the need to be entertained at all moments, right? And if you think about other examples outside of health and nutrition and fitness, you'll see that you are routine and they serve you well, because otherwise what happens on the flip side is it tends to fall apart. So can you see the value in the routine there, right? And value is the key word there. Number 10, you believe that workouts need to be confusing or novel all the time to create this thing called muscle confusion, which I kind of already talked about, but it's not how training works, right? You must have some amount of proficiency and build in progress and cause your body to adapt to the stressor, because it is a stressor of training and recovery. And that's how you get stronger and make progress. So if you're dying in every workout and you think you must smash yourself and be the sorest ever, which was me, or it's not going to give you results, then that can be unmotivating to get back and do the next workout, right? Because now you're starting to think about, I couldn't go to the bathroom, I couldn't do stairs, I struggled at work, and is that worth it, right? And so muscle confusion was a marketing ploy that was used. It's actually not something that we want to strive for. We want to strive at getting better, building proficiency, right? Connected to that value and that sort of thing. But we want to build in proficiency, recover from that stressor, and then continue to build on that. Number 11, you're not starting at the level you're at. Where you're at is not the same as where you used to be, and it's not the same as where you want to be. When I coach women through our 12 weeks and we're kind of picking habits or picking where we're starting, we're thinking this, often they think about the goals that they want to have achieved at the end of the 12 weeks. And we really have to scale it back to be like, this is where you're at. Where are you at now? What are the actions you want to take now, not in 12 weeks, right? Because if we get so good at this, so consistent, so proficient at this, then we can incrementally increase, right? And eventually we get to where we want to be at the end of the 12 weeks. The other thing is letting go of, maybe you were a runner, you used to run 5K, you used to read 10K. It was motivating. It was good for you, got your results, but now you're in your 40s and life looks different and it's hard to get back there. So we got to let go of that to give us an opportunity or room to do something different now that's going to work with where we're at today, not where we were then, right? That one's a tricky one there. And if it's a tricky one for you, let me know. Just type the word tricky in the comments. Number 12, you don't give yourself real permission to rest. So instead you take days off and then get caught up in your story of like, I'm being lazy, I'm self-sabotaging myself again, here I go again, then you feel guilty. You have a belief about rest that keeps you kind of like stuck in a loop and doesn't get you to go back to your workouts. And you don't schedule in rest days, you kind of fight it. So likewise, changing your workouts around your periods and fighting it. So let me like break this down. Is like, okay, so I know you've been there before, but let's say you're like you're working and you're like, I really want to take the day off, right? But then from work and you start to play in your head like how you're going to call in sick and stuff like that, and then the guilt plays in, right? Because it's like, oh, the work falls on somebody else and maybe further behind, I shouldn't do this, I'm not really sick or whatever. You start to play that kind of mind game again, but really what you want is just rest, but you're not giving yourself permission. We do the same thing with workouts, right? And then we internalize that message as I'm being lazy and I'm self-sabotaging. So if on Wednesdays you're constantly fighting yourself, give yourself the opportunity to take that as a rest day, no matter what, or to do something that's more self-serving. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's stretching, maybe it's just getting for a walk, for example. Give yourself that opportunity. Likewise, around your period, for example, right? Is like sometimes with our period, it's like lifting heavy is not something. It's like maybe we're more inclined to do lighter weights, or maybe we're more inclined to do more cardio during our period, or maybe we really struggle that first day. Give yourself permission to rest. Don't internalize the message as you being lazy or here I go again, self-sabotaging myself. Thumbs up if that's resonating with you. Yeah. So number 13, you don't have the mind muscle connection. You might be running or lifting weights, but you aren't really focusing on the muscles you are working and how it feels to contract that muscle. So basically we're just lifting weights, right? We're just pushing weights, lifting weights, but we're not really focusing on the muscles that we're working. You aren't getting to that point where it feels challenging to kind of finish that last rep, which is a red flag that you really aren't pushing yourself, or the workout just isn't hard enough. You may need to be more challenging in some ways to keep you more motivated so that it sticks, right? So focusing on what your body is doing, that mind muscle connection, is so key to noticing what's happening. If you're on the phone, for example, or changing channels, finding something on Netflix, scrolling through music, pausing music, changing the music or whatever, then that's a big clue you don't have the mind muscle connections too. You have the mind muscle connection, you're more grounded in your workout, you're less time thinking about everything else that needs to be done, everybody else that needs to be tended to, or how this is crap, you don't like doing it, or how it's so boring, right? And you're really focusing on challenging yourself to be connected to that muscle, right? Number 14, you feel you must prove yourself to others. This might be the reason you have a hard time working out solo. It can also show up by doing workouts your friends like, but you dread. That's really unmotivating, right? Your friend has success running, but you hate it, but you do it because she has success, and you do it kind of to appease others or to fit in or to be held accountable, but it doesn't fit with what you like or where you're at, which we kind of touched on, but this one's just going a little bit different, right? Is sometimes we do want to be in groups because yes, it is motivating, but two, it's also because we have something to prove to someone else as well, but also about being accountable, but we have a hard time being accountable to ourselves. Number 15, you don't do it often or routinely enough. So you go hard and then get too sore or injured, and then you carry this belief with you next time. You remember the pain or the injury, and it makes you pause before starting again. Number 16, you bank on only your workouts to get your results and change that number on the scale. So when that doesn't happen, you lose motivation to keep going. And I see this a lot. Women that I talk to, before I coach them and I ask them what has been their experience losing weight, it's either all exercise or all hardcore regimented diets, right? Very, very rarely do I see them integrating both into a balanced plan. That's been missing. And so if you're just constantly, looking at it, and I remember I used to have a client, and she would come to class, she would do one workout a week, and that was the one class a week she would come to. And at the end of the 6 weeks, I said, so that means that's 6 workouts. I said, are you renewing? And she said, I didn't lose any weight, so I don't think this is working. And that's what she believed, right? Is that one workout was going to make all of the difference. And for you, it might be 2, it might be 3, but we're just putting a lot in one basket and don't have enough tools or skills or consistency with the other baskets. So number 17, you use exercise to punish yourself for something you did. Maybe it was that burger and fries, for something you didn't do. Like I missed a workout, all of them last week. So how can you change the meaning of exercise for you to not be about punishing, but something like a gift or opportunity you can give your body, or your body's ability to do something like that. Number 18, you don't hold yourself accountable. One way to do that is to challenge, like, for example, like you can challenge your own reps, like you can write it down, and then can you beat your reps the next time? Can you set your own progress written down on paper or in an app? What kind of, like, how can you gamify it for yourself? It helps you focus on what is working versus maybe what's not working too. So how can you hold yourself accountable too? Number 19, you see exercise as being structured, but don't consider like other ways of moving your body. So for for example, how many steps do you get in a day? And I'll admit, I used to believe that a walk was not a workout, right? You also don't look for other ways that are maybe better suited for you. So maybe you're the kind of person who likes to bike ride, rock climb, dance, active video games. You're in a sports league, you play a childhood game, you take the stairs. You don't consider all that as well as ways to kind of move your body. And that's a great first step for someone who is not consistent with moving their body. Number 20 is consider pairing something you like with it. So for example, like only watch that Netflix show or listen to that audiobook or that playlist when you're working out. It gives you something to kind of look forward to. If you're pairing something you really like that Netflix series with something that you kind of feel met about, that kind of helps you there. 21, reward yourself for the small wins. This one's a huge one, guys. The progress you made on that workout versus that previous workout. What you didn't do, what didn't go well, or how far you must go. So think about it. Last time, it felt like this, but this time it felt like this. Reward that. I did this many reps or this weight, and now I'm doing this. Reward that, right? It's constantly looking at the small wins, and that's going to reinforce in you like how good it feels to do the workouts and why it's important to go back to it. Number 22, we're nearing the very end. You want to take inventory of your mental, emotional, and physical space before you work out. Every day is a good day to move your body, but doing this kind of work out front will help you understand why the workout might be mess sometimes, or how to change things up to honor how you're showing up mentally, emotionally, and physically. So by doing it up front, right? So by kind of saying, so when we do the virtual workouts in our consistency club, it's basically like we take a deep breath in and we exhale and we see where are the red lights, yellow lights, and green lights in our body to see where we are mentally, emotionally, and physically, because we want to then calibrate the workout accordingly. It's always a good time to have a workout to work out, but it's not always going to be your best workout. And sometimes it's not your best workout because mentally we're too full, emotionally we're too, all over the place, and physically we're just too tired. And so then we get an opportunity to calibrate the workout. And by doing that up front, then we're not doing the self-talk at the very end, the talk that says that was crap, why bother, oh God, I might as well, I blew that, or whatever, right? Whatever that talk is, we're kind of doing it up front, calibrating it accordingly versus doing that, because if we do it at the end, it makes it so much harder to do the next one. And last one is give yourself permission to make changes. So for example, if you don't like exercise, it doesn't make you a bad person. If you don't like to run, it doesn't make you a quitter or doomed to be overweight. If you've gone to a boot camp and it kicked your ass and you hated it, it doesn't mean you're weak. And if you've gone to a gym and you hated lifting weights, you never have to pick up another weight again in your life, right? Give yourself permission to make changes. So we started off today's training looking at boring, but what if boring is what kind of leads to consistency, your weight loss, for example? What if it leads to strength and power? What if it leads to increased productivity? And what if it leads to success and habit change that actually sticks and it actually works? What if boring were awesome? Let's think about that, right? So we covered 23 ways to go from boring, meh, and unmotivated about your workouts to get you feeling good about them and staying consistent with them. We touched on a lot of unconventionally talked about ways too. My goal is to kind of expand yourself outside of the usual self-talk we kind of get into when it comes to workouts. And things like, there are some things here that maybe you've never considered that are worth adding to your arsenal, kind of like your new armor when it comes to workouts. Your new armor is to protect what's boring, but that's actually going to give you results. So what are the 1 to 3 imperfect action steps you're willing, able, and ready to take because of today's training? I really want to hear about it in the comments. Did I deliver something new, something to consider? So tell me what your 1 to 3, we listed 23, and I don't expect you to implement 23, but I do say, hey, what are 1 to 3 you can practice? And then as you get really good at the 1 to 3, you can come back and add a few more. Or if those 1 to 3 don't work, you can come back and grab a couple more that way too. So I want to hear, what are the 1 to 3? Because we covered 23 different ways of looking at your workouts so that you're consistent, but also kind of avoid that burnout and that boredom. So keep them coming, whether you're live or replay here. And next, again, if I delivered value to you through this training or through previous trainings, for example, consider 2 to 3 people that you want as part of your posse inside this community, and posse to have those kind of more connected conversations about this kind of stuff. Then consider kind of inviting them using the invite button on the right side and having them join your community inside this community. That's really the power of being here. Good. I'm seeing them come in. Pam, pair exercise workout with entertainment, reward the small wins. My arm guns, yes. So Pam's going to be buying a tank top, super awesome. And yeah, I only do certain Netflix series when I'm working out here at home. And so it kind of helps me as well on those days where I'm less motivated, because it just happened to me, because I'm looking forward to the next episode in the series there. So pairing something like that is definitely an arsenal or a new armor that you can have too. So keep them coming, because they're going to inspire other women too. So I just want to thank you all for being here today for this training. And again, if you're here live, there's going to be a special training at 7 p.m. tonight. So stay tuned for that announcement as well. Thanks for being here.